What is up, everybody? My name is Satan Slayer Gaming, and welcome to the reading of another one of my chapter 2 of my story on DeviantArt, Journey to the East. Again, my channel name is the same for my DeviantArt. Is that a channel? I don't know what that's called. As it is for my YouTube channel. Okay. So, Journey to the East, Chapter 2. Dwarves on the Doorstep. 3 years have passed since the day the old man came to Felix's shop. Since then, they became good friends, and the old man has told him much of the world and himself. His name is Doenthiab. Is that Doenthinub? Yes. I did not... that... Wait, no, I'm going to read... And he is a wizard, one of the last ones. He told him many ancient tales. Many stories, however, are more recent. And one dark tale keeps coming up. Far to the east, there are mountains called the Grey Mountains. The dwarves there are prosperous, and in the center of this is the Great Dale. In there is only one mountain. It is called Argon, and was one of the greatest dwarven cities in all of Hilan. They dug deep and far. Rumors spread of their tunnels being found all the way in the Dividing Mountains. This, of course, is not true. But wealth like that attracts dangerous things. It was a day like any other, but that did not last long. There was a loud sound in the eastern Grey Mountains, like a bell, but much louder. Every dwarf recognized it. It was the alarm for a dragon raid. The dwarves readied their swords, spears, crossbows, and shields, but the dragon, red as molten rock, made a few passes over them, breathing its flame on them, and continued west and came upon Argon. They were unprepared. Although they had heard the alarm, they were not fast enough in their preparation and were quickly overrun and killed. The survivors ran west to the Great Plateau and tried to muster an army to take it back. But after seeing what it had done to Argon and the East Grey Mountains, there were few willing to take it back. The East Grey Mountains were so ruined by the fires that they were quickly overrun by orcs and goblins, leaving few survivors. Felix had no idea why it kept coming up until June 8th, 1886. This again being on the Halflings calendar. A fellow with a 4-inch long black beard, tan skin, black hair reaching his mid-neck, a worn red traveling cloak, and a sword and crossbow hanging from his belt, comes riding down the road. As he passes the halflings, they look at him with narrowed eyes. Felix was sitting on his porch just outside his home, watching this dwarf ride down the road. As he came closer, he stopped in front of Felix's porch and asks, "I'm looking for Doenthiab. Have you seen him?" Doenthinub. I'm terrible at pronouncing that. "He hasn't been here for weeks," Felix said. Chocolate. "He said he would be here, and that someone named Seeker would help us." I need to get a voice for this guy, actually. "He hasn't been here for weeks. He said that he would be here, and that someone named Seeker would help us." That's slightly racist. Whatever. "Well, my name is Seeker, but I was never told of any dwarf coming by." There was a pause as he realized what the dwarf had said. "Wait. What do you mean us? Is there more of you?" I'm the first one here." The dwarf said in a surprised voice. "That's surprising. Will you please tell me what's happening?" "Sorry, I am Slohin, son of Lohin, whatever. That does not answer my question. Can I come in so we can talk in private? I don't think this voice is being consistent. That voice is not going to be consistent. Felix thinks for a moment. Fine, just don't touch anything. Felix leads Lohin into his house. Lohin ties up his pony and hits the outside wall as he comes in. The dwarf sits in a chair in the living room, and Felix sits in another one. So, why are you here? Doenthiab told us that the heir of the kings of Argon were calling as far as many dwarves as possible to meet him here. The dwarf said. I was confused because that line was broken when the dragon attacked. Argon. You mean that mountain that Doenthiab is obsessed with? None of these voices are going to be consistent. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I'm merely telling the story. It is more than a mountain. It is the greatest failure since the halls of Kolikal were flooded. The what? A dwarven city that was flooded under the sea. Not gonna be consistent voices. Just gonna tell you that. Don't expect consistent voices. Felix and Sloan made small talk for an hour longer. Sloan is from the Siladan Mountains, a 2 weeks march to the west. He was a store hand. Doenthia store hand. I believe that is the word I use for someone who helps in stores, helps stock shelves and the likes. Doenthiab came to his town and told them that the heir of King Thoron of Argon was alive and was calling for aid. He bid them to raise their swords against the dragon, but few listened. Slohin only came because he was curious, and to spread the word of Millen's magnificent magics, the store he works for. I love hot chocolate. After all that, there comes a knock on Felix's door. Who could that be? Felix says to himself as he walks over to the door. He opens the door to see a dwarf with a short silver beard, a white cloak, silver hair that reaches his shoulders, very pale skin, silver and gold necklaces hanging around his neck, and a spear and a shield on his back. Greenhill Overmound of Pilar at your service, the dwarf said. What do you want? Felix said. Are you Seeker? Let me guess, you're here because a wizard told you that a king of an ancient mine has called you. How did you? You're not the first one. So can I come in? Just don't touch anything, Felix said as he held the door open for him to enter. Thank you, Greenhill said as he pushed past. Felix looked down the road and saw a group of 2 dwarves walking towards him. As he stood there, they sped up and stopped by his door. The taller of the 2 was wearing a gold cloak, golden colored. A gold band on her head with symbols hanging off of it, and a bow and arrows on her back. I should have read this through more. I see so many Steaks. Oh, sure it's just a bone quiver. Ugh. That's what I meant to say. She had a short brown beard, short brown hair, and tanned skin. The shorter and fatter of the two had a brown cloak, chain armor, and an axe on his back. He had dark skin, black hair, and a small black beard. The taller one said, in a slightly softer voice than the other dwarves, "Are you Seeker?" Before Felix could answer, he heard a shout from the sitting room. "Oi! Put that back!" It was Slohan. Felix ran back in to find the problem. Slohan was sitting on the chair, but was staring at Greenhill, who was standing by the mantel with Felix's mother's silver clock. Clearly not noticing that Felix was there, Greenhill said, "Make me, if you could stand." He said, as he said this, the sound of clinking chain could be heard behind Felix. Greenhill heard this and hid the clock behind his back and said, "Hello, nothing to see here." "Put that back." It's not the voice I need. "Put that back." It's slightly better. Felix said angrily. Slowly, Greenhill put the clock back on the mantel. As he let go, it fell on the floor with a thud. And he quickly picked it up and put it back. "I was just looking at it," Greenhill said. "That's a lie! He tried to do the same thing with one of Million's amulets." I can speak today. Slohan said. "You have no proof," said Greenhill. As they continued arguing, the taller of the other dwarves said, "So, I guess you're Seeker then?" "Yes, and you are?" said Felix. "Lustinor Stonehand of Atlas at your service," the female dwarf said with a wink. "Gluhan Ironbrow of Salem at your service," said the other dwarf. "Do you have any food for us?" "Give me a sec, and watch him," he said. Felix said, pointing at Greenhill. A few hours of making food and eating and talking went by. Greenhill is a guard for the dwarven city of Pilar's Jaidi temple. Jaidi is the oldest religion in Halan. He answered the call because he thought there would be a lot of gold involved. And he's a greedy bastard. It's not actually part of the story. Lustinor is a lore master of Atlas in the Golden Woods. She answered the call to see if it was true. And there was a king who could resist. Gluon was a merchant from Salem in the Dividing Mountains. He answered the call because he thought it would be a better life than the life of little food, even though he got more food than the most in his small town. Night was falling when someone knocked on the door. Felix answered it and saw 4 dwarves. The first was wearing full steel plate armor, with a helmet that left his face exposed, so this was exposed. There's nothing there. Over it was a gray cloak, so over his armor there's a cloak. He had pale skin and a very short beard. Like stubble, actually. Is that the word for that? Like a bit of beard coming through, but not very much. I don't know. He had a large shield on his back, and a battle axe on his belt. The second had heavy chainmail and a black helmet that covered his entire face. So his entire head was covered. He really had no skin. He really has no skin uncovered. Actually, you can't see any of it. You can't. I guess you can kind of see his eyes, because otherwise, look, there's slits where near his mouth, so you can hear him. And heavy metal gloves. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. He had no weapon as far as Felix could see. The third and youngest had light silver plate armor and a silver circlet with a blue gem with an eagle on it in the middle. He had pale skin, a foot-long braided red beard, a braided red hair that reached his shoulders. He had a sword on his belt and a shield with an eagle on it on his back. The fourth and oldest dwarf had light silver plate armor with a golden eagle on it. A gold circlet with a blue gem with an eagle on it in the middle. He had pale skin, a long braided red beard, short red hair, and a scar above his left eye. On his belt was a sword. "How do you people keep finding me?" said Felix, confused and annoyed. "The mark on your door," said the one in steel plate. "There's no mark there," Felix said, again confused and annoyed. Look for yourself," said the same dwarf. Felix looked, and indeed, there was a mark there with some kind of symbol by his door. Before he could say anything, the same dwarf said, "I am Envimi Flamekin of Arcos, at your service." He points at the dwarf with the mask and says, "This is Rogan of Renora." Then the fourth one said, "I am Coron Goldenwing, son of Doron, son of Loron, son of Thoron of Argon." He then points to the youngest dwarf and said, "This is my son, and this is my son, Boron." At the sound of the name Thoron, all the dwarves inside had rushed to the door. Even Slohin, who had not gotten up from his chair since he arrived. They all stared in wonder at the two dwarves that claimed to be the heirs of the throne of Argon. After what felt like a few minutes, all four of them bow to the new arrivals. That's the end of chapter 2. So, start off let's start off with telling you all the references. All of the oh crap! Oh, come on! I feel like an idiot. All the dwarves are based off the 7 deadly sins, and all of them except for Boron, who is supposed to be pride, all start with similar letters to that. Why did I forget that? Yeah, they're all based off the 7 deadly sins. Slohin is sloth, or laziness. Greenale is greed. Lustenal is lust. What is his name? I'm terrible at remembering names. Gluon is gluttony. Then Envimy is envy. Rogon is wrath, and Boron is pride. Even though I forgot to actually give him the first. I'm so disappointed in myself. So, and now on to other references. or just references. Well, first off, argon is a noble gas on the periodic table. And boron is I think it's a metalloid. Or is it just metal? I don't know. I think it's a metalloid in the periodic table. Then most of the kingdoms that were mentioned in here, except for the Sildan Mountains and the Pilar, they're all references to Ruby, which is my favorite internet series ever. In my opinion, the best internet animated series ever. Just animated series in general. Even better than Dragon Ball Z. And Salem is the villain who was introduced at the end of Volume 3. Atlas is one of the kingdoms. So, did I mention Vale? No, Vale is Vale's Elvish now. See, Arcos is the shipping name for Jean and Pyrrha. Renora is the shipping name for Ren and Nora. See, what were the others mentioned? No, nothing. There's none. I don't think I mentioned Felix Seeker's name, his reference, or my inspiration behind his name. Yeah, for my German class, I had to in semester 2, I had to choose a name that I would go by for German things, and I chose Felix. And Seeker was the book I was reading when I was deciding his name. Also, it sounded cool. Thoron is based off of Thorin, or Thorin Oakenshield from The Hobbit. Doenthia is according to Google Translate, which is a terrible source for this sort of thing, but I just really wanted an idea for a name. It is wisdom in Welsh. Probably not true. If any of you are Welsh speakers or know Welsh, know what wisdom in Welsh is, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm probably wrong. Obviously, Millen's Magnificent Magics is a reference to Gilmore's Glorious Goods from the from Geek and Sundry's D&D series Critical Role, because I love that so much. Especially Gilmore's Glorious Goods. And who wouldn't want to go to Gilmore's Glorious Goods? It sounds like an amazing place. And it was. Or got stepped on by a dragon. Spoilers. What else is there? I should probably show you where all these things are. So, I have a map right here. Crap, things are falling. Everything's fine. I'm a professional. Can you make this up? This is the, Grey Mountains. This is the Grey Dale. Argonne is right in the middle there. This is the Grey Plateau. So the dragon came from here, burned this area, then moved to here and claimed this as his home. So these are the Siladan Mountains here, this little blue area there. This is Pilar, this place right here. These are the dividing mountains. Salem is around here-ish. This area. What was it? Renora is over here in the Red Hills. These are the Red Hills. Arcos is the name of all the Dwarven territories in the Grey Mountains. And Atlas is in here in this little tiny speck of land. This little tiny speck of land right here. It's a mountain in that forest, which is the Golden Woods. Any other places mentioned? Again, this is all still taking place around here-ish in Mythandil. Yes, I can speak. I know the places I invented. I know them very well. Thank you very much. Yeah, nothing really else. A bit of extra lore for you. Dragons normally come from a place here called the Northern Wilds. Very cold place, not a very pleasant place to live, but they were driven out by the people who then inherited it, who then claimed it as their own. There are very few dragons who are still there. Most of them are either dead, entirely different continents. Yeah, there really isn't much else to tell you. Okay. So, I hope you all did enjoy. Don't forget to leave a comment below what you think of the series, maybe ideas, maybe characters you might want, because when I'm writing it, I'm not following a full-on, structure. I'm following I haven't completely planned everything out. I've planned out a beginning, an end, and a few plot points in between, but I have not planned out everything, and I could use all the help I could get, so please tell me ideas for characters or really anything. I have gotten lore for... I do have lore for pretty much... for, like, every other place on this map already. Otherwise, I wouldn't have them on the map. Because when I develop a kingdom, I have to... it's kind of a thing where when I develop something, I have to come up with some sort of lore for it. Anyway, yeah, I hope you all did enjoy. Don't forget to... again, don't forget to comment down anything, really. As long as it's appropriate, it's fine. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!